Morning. So we're back at the trailer again today because we are gonna do some repairs to the flooring. So obviously when you're carrying dirt bikes around, especially when we're carrying around the old 1980s era bikes, that they leak. And recently my 84 KDX and Chris's 87 KDX leaked a bunch of gas on the floor. Now, when I first remodeled this, I guess you call it remodeling this trailer, I put down these rubber slash vinyl, what do you call them? Tiles. These things. So these things are from Home Depot, and they just snap together. And see, it's a floating floor, and underneath of it is the previous, I guess, vinyl floor, right? So what has happened here is, you probably can't see it in the dark, but all the oil and gas that has leaked down, when you leak oil and gas on those tiles specifically, they warp and they swell and they bow and they cause waves and all that, and then they won't stay together anymore. They kind of, the edges pop up, and it's like a tripping hazard essentially, is what's happened. So I'm like, okay, I thought the idea was good and it protects the floor, because it does. It keeps some of the gas and oil off the floor. Obviously, I want to come up with a solution that'll help me stop those bikes from leaking. Probably just got to put drip pans underneath of them when we're traveling. Somehow keep them from sliding around. I'll figure that out later. But for today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all this flooring that we hand cut in. Chris and I did this together. I'm going to take it all out. I'll take everything out. And then I bought from Home Depot a single roll of the vinyl flooring, which is in this tube here. Super heavy, by the way, and some glue. So my goal here, or my idea, whether this works or not, we'll see. Take everything out, take the flooring out, and piece it back together on the ground. Lay it on top of this big, long single sheet, trace it, cut it out, and then glue down that one single sheet in there so there's no seams or any of that stuff. All right, that's the plan. I don't know if that's gonna work or not, and it's probably gonna be ridiculously bad, but we'll see how it happens. So, things I have to do. Take out these anchors again, because they're on top of that. I'll be putting them back in. And the lock and loads that I use, which I really, really love, these lock and load things, these are all kind of screwed right into the wood. I'm a little bit concerned about taking them up, and I've got 4 of them in here. That's how we store 4 bikes. They're fantastic. They work really well. But since I anchored them down into that plywood, which is the subfloor there, and it's plywood, I'm afraid taking them out and putting them back in may not anchor as well. Because you know how it is when you drill into plywood, you put a screw in it, you take it out, you put it back in. Sometimes it stays, sometimes it just eats it up because the plywood's just glued together. We'll see if I have to address that at all. So right now, I'm going to empty everything out and then pull the floor out, and then start seeing how it's going to go, cutting it all up. Let's do it. Okay, emptied it out. Let's take a close look at this thing. So, as I said, you can see how it bubbles up and it doesn't really attach. Either it gets hot or gas or oil is spilt on it. It's hard with the shadows to see, but it's all kind of roly-poly. And then here, up in here, again, hard to see. These are not going to connect again. This is how much gas and oil's got in here, and it's making it so it's impossible to connect these here. So that's the reason why. But take note, or I'm taking note, not you guys, but how close we got these edges when we cut these in. And it's easy to do when you're only dealing with a small piece, right? To get the edges so close up against all the way around. And then this one, clearly, kind of got lucky because we got to use these extra edging pieces, and it worked out such that it came really darn close, you know, if not all the way to the edge. So that's going to be an interesting thing. I've got to take these things out, the hooks. I've got to take those out. Yeah, I'm going to do that next. Let's take those things out. The tie-down hooks, not the lock and loads, but those go all the way through frame supports underneath. So I'll get my wife to help me get underneath there and hold the wrench and take those out. Okay, I just unrolled this vinyl. So I'm very surprised at actually how thin it is. I'm surprised at that. Like, this is pretty thin stuff. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna glue it down. It's 21 feet. I think I only need like, I wanna say 19 maybe, something like that. But it's 10 feet wide. Make sure these edges come down. It's 10 feet wide, and the trailer is only like 9 3/4 feet wide. So I'll be trimming the edges. Try to lay it out here in the sun so it gets any kind of wrinkles out. I want it to be flat because that's how it's going to be laid out. I'm going to take all those tiles out and put them on top of this and template it out. First, I got to unscrew all this crap from the floor. All right, well, nothing is easy, of course. So pulling these things out, I ended up having to cut the nuts off, several of them on the bottom, because they're just rusted in there. I don't know that I'm gonna replace these. I fucking ordered them, but I don't know, we'll see. These things, I had to cut the nuts on the bottoms the other side, so we'll see. All right, that's it. Now I can pull this damn floor out. Okay, so floor is out, laid out all the way on here. That's kind of the whole design right there. Then I've cleaned the floor, mopped it up. This is what the original floor looked like, right? So it's just kind of this really thin kind of linoleum type cover on a 3/4 sheet of plywood. You can see that down there. So what I'm going to do now is trace it out, trace around the edges and cut out the other one and see about how hard it's going to be to lay this floor down on there with some glue. All right, let's see. Okay, got it all cut out. Here's what she looks like. So this is effectively gonna be the new floor. It's all trimmed up. Make all the necessary little cuts when I go to put it in. So now what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll it up, front, side, back, wipe it down really clean to make sure there's nothing sticking to the back of it, roll it all up so that I can unroll it onto the glued in the back of the trailer. So the first thing I'm gonna do though, I'm gonna roll it up and clean it, and then I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna spread all the glue. The glue's got a good working time of over an hour. So I'll quickly spread all the glue and then I'll unroll it and we'll see how it goes. Could be good, could be bad. We'll see. Okay, I spread the glue. It dries clear so you can kind of see some of the patches that are already drying up, and tacks up clear. They say it's got a good hour's working time, so I've got time. I've cleaned and rolled this thing up. So now I'm going to set it down over there and start to unroll it, and hopefully it's not that awful. We'll see. Okay, she's installed. Just finished rolling it in there, so all the glue's still wet, but I think it looks pretty good. I don't know how much you can see with the darkness of this. Got really tricky and tight down here, and I got a pretty good gap on this over here. So what I'm gonna do is, and I was gonna do this anyway, I'm just gonna get some black caulk, and I'm gonna caulk it all the way on the edges, just to kind of seal it up and try to keep the dirt from just kind of getting in the edges there. Other than that, I was able to get it underneath of these things here. It looks nice and clean and straight. I'm happy with that. So now I guess if it's got some bubbles in it, but those are like old screw holes and things like that. So I don't know. I don't mind those little tiny bubbles. We'll see. Okay, so next is gonna be caulk it up, clean it. Then I'm gonna put all the tie downs and the lock and loads and all that crap back in it. Okay. Okay, it's the next day. and I'm done. All right, so I just finished putting in the lock and loads again. So she's had a chance to cure overnight. I put the aluminum strip back over that little crown, and I just put all the lock and loads back in. They did go right back in the same holes they were in before, so that was interesting. So I'm like, all right, got that lined up. As far as this floor goes, to be honest, kind of sucks, but it's just so thin. If it could be like 5 mils thick, that'd be great, but it's only like 1.5 mils thick, super rubbery. And so I'm really concerned about this edge here. You know, ultimately, I guess I should have put it underneath this lip, but I felt like that was going to be a huge problem. But I may have to put another strip over top because I feel like that's going to pull up. But for right now, I don't care. I'm done. Replaced it. There's not a bunch of oil and grease in there because there was a ton of it from the other stuff getting underneath. I've sealed all the edges with some silicone, so no oil and grease you get underneath of it unless it tears, which who knows. Well, let's see how it goes. I'll give you an update.